This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, this is the midweek critique for week 2. We're looking at logo icon sketches. So first up, we've got Pamela. Pamela, you have Café de Provence, and I see this sort of initial exploration. So um, a couple things. First of all, Provence means sort of the countryside, and the Eiffel Tower is really a symbol of the city. If you look at more sort of rural type things, you might find some more inspiration there. So it looks like some of these are like that. So number 2 is a travel cup with a fleur-de-lis. I'd avoid cups. I don't think coffee cups are going to be a great icon for this. Think more about the attributes, the symbolism of this. 3 is a fleur-de-lis in the foam. Again, another cup. Number 4, this cafe style chair is an interesting idea, but what you want to do is sort of make this your own kind of unique object. So why is it special for Café de Provence? Number 5 is an arc in a provincial building. Again, this is sort of a visual exploration. You're drawing these objects, but then you want to figure out how to tie them into your brand in some unique way. 6 is provincial village. Now this is getting closer. That's more like your brand. So if you come up with a unique technique for creating that, that's good. 7 is lavender. Yeah, lavender is a big part of rural France. Again, how do you make it special for you? Fleur-de-lis with lavender. The fleur-de-lis is sort of a cultural symbol on its own, and so I wouldn't sort of appropriate that for a logo. Like it wouldn't. It's not a standalone type of thing. So number 9 is a steaming cup of coffee with the fleur-de-lis. That's really the same as number 3. So try to get out of the coffee cup world. And 10, you're sort of putting the word mark in a half of fleur-de-lis. So a couple of things. No more coffee cups, no more fleur-de-lis. Try again. The village is interesting. The archway, the architecture, the lavender, those are all sort of interesting pathways to something unique, perhaps. Next up, we got Matthew. Matthew, you're doing mint soap. So what you're really trying to do here is create an icon that is special and unique for this brand. Not a word mark, as you've done here, no words. Just the icon for now. So you've got a lot of mint leaves and bubbles, I see. So try to expand beyond that. Look at your creative brief and look at your 10 keywords and see if you can come up with something more sort of symbolic of the brand. Like we talked about in the live session, for instance, Apple computer, it's an apple, it's not a circuit board. So try to be less literal, more metaphorical, and explore. I believe it has some Japanese things, Japanese recipe. Yes, we tried to make the Japanese flag. Japanese culture is full of visual references, different icons. There's so much there that you could dive into and get out of the mint leaves and bubbles. So see what you can do to come up with some more sort of interesting ideas. Just jumping ahead to the 5.0 assignment. This is how I want your logo to be set up. Icon and logo type. Not a word mark, not a combo mark like you're doing here or here or here. So come up with some cool icons and then we'll add logo type in the next step. All right, Joanna, you did Black Sea chocolate. So you kind of dove right in. This is some interesting stuff. The ships, the anchor, I kind of get all that. I wouldn't do little grids of chocolate bars because that seems sort of low end for this product. And pull the word out. Don't use the word yet. Just create an interesting icon. You've got a castle, a ship, and an anchor. Those are sort of 3 ideas. The rough sea, the Black Sea, there's no palm trees there. So do a little more research on Ukraine, Ukrainian, the Black Sea. There's so much more to sort of get from that, more cultural things, floral patterns, things like that, that you could sort of add to this. You've kind of hit the nautical thing pretty hard, and no more Hershey bars, because that's kind of low end for this product. Marquest, you are doing atomic cookies. So you've got the flying saucer getting cookies, that's good. A sort of solar system of cookies, that's also good. The atomic, icon, nucleus, right? Meteor, these are all good. I even like this kind of A. I usually don't like letters like that, but that's good. Now you kind of phoned it in on 9 and 10. That's like the same idea again and again. See if you can push yourself a little further and come up with some other really good ones for 9 and 10. But you're off to a really good start. Now, just a note, I notice a lot of you are just giving me screenshots of your InDesign file, and you're not updating the master page with your information. You can export a JPEG of any page from your InDesign document. Make sure you know how to do that. And then you have a nice clean looking JPEG with your files all together in the discussion. All right, Roy, you are doing Big Easy Cookies, and you get that it's New Orleans. You've got sort of New Orleans imagery. Some of these are good. I'm not a fan of putting it in the word, and this doesn't really say New Orleans at all. So we're start at the back here. Number 10, this is a very common symbol for New Orleans. One thing I would say, if you have the word in here like this, it makes it very restrictive in terms of how you use this logo. So again, think about icon, logo type. How can you build it like that? One thing that might help this is perspective. What if it was, much bigger kind of angle on the sign? A New Orleans building, so this is sort of visual exploration, but you haven't really come up with something unique there. The sort of gesture, Mardi Gras character as a cookie, perhaps, that might work. Jazz band. Again, pull the word out, just do an icon. Figure out the simplest, so you got this again and again. The simplest sort of jazz band version that you're gonna do, and use that once. Then come up with some other ideas. I kind of like this first one, but it's not really an icon. It feels more like a poster illustration or something. So how could you make it, and how is it more related to the cookie? This is kind of a good drawing, but again, it's not really a logo icon yet, but perhaps, so there's potential there. But you've figured out what your brand is about, so it's just a matter of time before you get there, so that's good. All right, that's section 1. Here's section 2. All right, Stephanie, you got Salty Dog caramels, and you've put your icon sketches in separate files up on the discussion board. Make sure you're using InDesign. Put it all on one page so we can see it all at once. You got a dog with the type wrapped. I wouldn't do the type wrapped around it. This looks like waves with the letters, perhaps. I don't know. This one looks like a ship's wheel with waves. Doesn't really take advantage of the dog. I think that you got an interesting idea with the dog. So if you take the dog and give him more personality, similar to this, think about your key words from your creative brief, and how does that describe the dog? This is just like a sun with the word smattered over it. Don't do that. Or a ship's wheel, sun or a ship's wheel. Well, decide and make it as good as you can make it. This is more of the same, it feels like. So you're not really breaking out into some new ideas. So maybe try to brainstorm bigger, like who are the dog's friends? What about how do people use the caramels? What do they do with them? When do they serve them? Start to think about these things and draw pictures related to them, and hopefully it'll start to click for an idea. But you've really kind of pushed the dog thing everywhere you could go. So I think you kind of got that. Figure out the best one, and that's one idea. All right, Robin, you have Tortuga jelly beans, which is sort of a adult flavored jelly beans, pirate oriented. These are excellent sketches. I'm not sure why you didn't put them in your presentation template, but do that. A lot of these could work. I really like this number 9, I think, sort of jumps out at me. This stylized whale is really interesting. This is funny, but I don't know if it's an icon. The jelly bean with an eye patch, I like that. I'd say number 1, number 5, and number 9 are probably your best ones right now, but they all have some merit. So good job on that. If you can keep going, come up with more. You seem to be on a good track, so go for it. Next up, Kelly, you submitted it as a PDF. Let's see. Okay, these are not in the template. Looks like you got Boise beef jerky. It's a little hard to look at with, let's see, where you describe them. So, cow head, cow outline with text inside. Don't do that, because that's going to be very restrictive to use. More cows, the state of Idaho. I wouldn't use maps. Don't put type inside the icon. And if you think about the people who use this product, so this is a piece of beef jerky with horns on it. It's a little scary, but this is the kind of thinking, the direction you should think more in. So taking an ordinary object and making it unique for your product. Yeah, and don't use state maps. Be more creative than that. So think about your attributes, your keywords, apply them, to the cow. Who else? Who uses it? What do they look like? Build a little romance about this. Dig deeper and then present them in your presentation template. You can export from InDesign as a JPEG, and then they'll all be in one place. We can look at them a little easier. All right, Rebecca, you're clearly doing Brainiac Coffee. So you've got the brain, sort of like a coffee bean, a coffee cup with a brain in it. 3 is, yeah, again, sort of a brain with a bean. These 2 are very similar. 4 with the initials. 5 is top down on a cup, the shape of a brain. This is kind of subtle. I don't know if that will work well. 6, variation with the cup filled with the brain. So this is number 2. It's the same thing. 7, brain in the negative space of the coffee bean. 8, a coffee cup with steam rising and a brain. All right, so you've got brains all over the place. Try to avoid coffee cups. See what you can do differently. Who's the character that represents this? What do they look like? How are they using it? Is it in a science lab? Try to break out from where you're kind of stuck in a rut here. So try to think of other visuals besides brains and coffee cups and see what you come up with. I think of what you've got, maybe number 2/6 might be one idea. The bean brain thing, I'm not sure that is going to read well as a logo, but perhaps that is. But see what else you can come up with. Use some more brain power. All right, and you also provided a PDF. All right, now a lot of you seem to be struggling with InDesign. This should not be the case. If you're having trouble, let me know, but you need to use InDesign to show off all your work, and everything you submit should be a PDF from your InDesign template. So see what you can do with that. I look forward to seeing the next iteration of everybody's work. Have a good day.